NFS share. First, what is NFS? This is NFS. NFS is the network file system. In short, NFS. And it is a network file system commonly used by Unix systems and network attached storage devices to allow multiple clients to share access to file over the network, and it provides access to shared directories or files from client system. So basically it is used by the Unix type systems, all the Linux systems, to share directories from each other. So if we want to share a directory from Linux to Linux, then we can use this NFS. It is very easy and quick way to share the data, share the share the storage from one server to other server. Now NFS exports. This NFS server installation requires the NFS utils package to be installed. So if we want to share any directory from the Unix server or Linux server, then we need what? This package to be installed, NFS utils. And it provides all necessary utilities to export directory with NFS to client. So the configuration file for the NFS server export is the etc under etc exports file. So this is the package we need for the NFS share, and this package is actually the base package for the network. So when we configure the network services, we select the network, which is the default one. So this NFS utils by default installs in our machine, and this is the main configuration file for sharing the directory with NFS to client, which is under etc exports. Now this export files list the directory to share to client host over the network and indicate which host or network have access to exports. Exports, that means the share we do. So this file has the information about what share we have, what directory we have shared, and for which network for which host we have shared, and what are the permissions we have given to those hosts. Permissions are like read only, read write, these kind of permissions. So now we will see how we can share it. So it is very simple. There is no complex thing here. It is very simple to share and use the NFS. So first we need to install the package which is the NFS utils, and mostly it is installed by default. Now we are going to share the directory name myshare is on our server and will be mounted on the client system. So this will be accessed from the client system. Now we start the NFS service on server first. So first we have to start the service so that we can create the NFS share and enable the NFS service to start at boot on server. That means whenever machine starts or restarts, this service must be start. Now we will create the directory which is we want to share, and after creating the directory we'll go to this file, export the directory on the server to client as a read or read write, whatever enable share to do, and that add following line in the export files. So whatever we want to do, we will do it by in this share file, and we will add the information about the share file. This file is an empty file, so if we want to add any information, we can add it, like how we can share. So we open the file and we will add the information like this: the name of the folder, the name of the directory. Then we can add client name which we want to give this share, allow this share. We can mention the IP of the client, we can mention the whole network, we can mention the whole domain name. But if we mention the name or domain name, then we need the DNS server to work. Remember, this needs the DNS server to resolve the name. And here we can mention the permission: read write, read only, and then sync. Sync will do what? Start synchronizing whenever we mount, whenever we connect this directory from the client. So start doing, it will start syncing the directory. That means whatever the changes is happening, it will start syncing that changes. And for updating this configuration we have done in the export file, we can restart the service, but we don't have to restart the service. We can just run the command export fsr to update the changes what we have done. And one more thing we have to do is to enable the NFS on firewall. So if our firewall is running, so the NFS port is 2049 of TCP for NFSD must be open on the server. And to configure the firewall to enable the NFS export immediately, we will run the command firewall cmd and add it to permanently, add the service NFS and reload the firewall D rule, so the new rule get applied and firewall cmd reload will reload the firewall and new rule will be applied. So let's see how we'll do it in the system first. Okay, so first I will check whether my package is installed or not. So NFS utils, and it is installed. Mostly it is installed by default. Now I will create a directory for sharing it. So first I will create mkdir and I will create my share directory. Now I'm creating it under the directly the root /root, and if you create it anywhere else, then you have to make sure the permissions also. Now I will create some file in that my share. So I will create some files, file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4. Okay, so I have created the directory and I have added some file into that directory. Now I want to share the directory and I want to share it with the NFS. So the package is already installed. Now first I will do what? I will start the service first. So systemctl, let's check the status of the service, which is NFS. NFS server service. Now it is not started, it is inactive, and also by default it is disabled. So what I will do first, systemctl start NFS server service, and then I will put enable command to enable it default. Now we can check the status. Now the service is active and running, and also it is enabled. So when we restart the system, it will also enable. Now it will remain enabled. Now I will open the main configuration file, which is under etc, and the file name is exports. Now as you see, there is no information here in this file, so we have to add the information about the directories. So first I will add the directory name here, which is under /root, and this is the name of my directory which I want to share. Now here after tab you can put your client information which you want to share with. So first I will share it with the whole network. So for the whole network I will mention my network IP / with the subnet, and then whatever the permission I want. So I will give read write permission to all. So with the all network, I am sharing with all network with read write option, and also I am adding sync so that everyone can as soon as the share folder is accessed, this folder is accessed, it will start syncing. Now that's it. I want to share this. So very simple. I will just add the network IP so that everyone in this network can get the access of this share, this directory, and they will get the permission of read write. Now I will save the file. Now I have already saved the file. I have the service is already started, so I can do restart the service to update the changes, or I can run command export fs -r. It will do update the changes what I have done in the export file. Now if we want to check what is the share folder, what are the share folders we have shared with the NFS, so we can run the command export fs and it will show you the share which we have exported. So this is what we have shared, this directory we have shared, and we have shared with this network. If we want to see it in detail, so we can add a option. Sorry, V option, verbose. Now here we will see that this is the directory which I share, and this is the network to I share, and these are the permissions. Remember, I have mentioned only read write and sync. These are the other options which comes by default. These are the default options, and it comes by default. We have not mentioned these options, but these are by default options. Now we want to use this directory on client side, on client machine. Now in client machine, so I'll go to this client machine. Now what we do in Windows, if we are in Windows, then what we do, we go to run, we give 2 backslashes, and then we give the IP of the server where the share folder is exist, and then we just press enter and we see the folder of the we see the share folder of that other machine. Now here what we have, this is because first it is not a graphical thing. We are not having a graphical here first. We are having a graphical, but if we are having a graphical, and if you want, then you can go here on the browse network. This is the graphical option we have, and we can use this one also, but mostly we are not having a graphical. So what, this accessing like Windows will not work. Here we can go for search, we can connect the servers, we can mention the server name here with the NFS, and then we can connect it and we can access it. But this is graphical thing, and we are not in the graphical. So when we are in command line, and you want to access a folder, a shared directory from the other machine, then here what is the option? We do what? We use the mounting option. It is the option just like in Windows we use mapping. In Windows we used to create share folder mapping, so that we don't have to access every time. It will create a map drive in our My Computer, so that whenever you click on that drive, the share folder will be accessed. So the same way we can do here in Linux system, we do mount. We create a local folder here in this client machine, and we will mount that share folder into this local machine, just like we mount any normal partition or flash drive when we attach, or even a CD DVD. So for mounting on a client side, we will do this. So manually mounting and unmounting NFS share. So NFS, the network file system, is an internet standard protocol used by Linux and Unix and similar operating system as their native network file system. Similar operating system just like we have Zen server also. Now it is an open standard under active extension which supports native Linux permissions and file system features. Now Red Hat RHEL 7 supports NFS version 4, and version 4 of the protocol by default, and falls back automatically to version 3 and version 2 if that is not available. So if by default it goes in RHEL 7, it goes for NFS version 4, and if the other machine is not having NFS version 4, then automatically it will switch to NFS version 3 or 2. Now NFS version 4 uses the TCP protocol to communicate with the server, and while older versions of NFS may use either TCP or UDP. Now NFS server export shares, that is directories, and NFS clients mount on exported share to a local mount point, that is directory. The local mount point must exist, and NFS share can be mounted a number of ways. So what we do, basically we create a local directory in our client and we use the NFS share to mount on that directory, and we can use number of ways. So manually we can mount an NFS share using the mount command. Just like we mount the normal partitions, we can mount the NFS share directory also on our local directory by using the mount command. Then we can automatically mounting an NFS share at boot time using the fstep file. So if we want to make it persistent, that means if we want to make that every time when we boot, reboot, that partition must be mounted, NFS share must be mounted on some directory, then we can make the entry into fstep file. But remember, when you add an entry into the fstep file, that means whenever your system boots, it try to mount that directory and it try to mount that NFS share, and at that time your NFS server must be running and connected. If your server is not running, then your client will take time to boot. It will not fail, but it will take time to boot. It will try to connect the server, and after some time it will fail, and then your machine will boot. So it happens if you have added the entry into fstep file. Otherwise you can use the mounting an NFS share on demand through a process known as auto mounting. This is auto mounting. It do what? It mounts these directories based on the demand. That means if someone needs it, then it will mount it, otherwise it will not mount it. So if you want the directory to be mount, then it will be mount, and otherwise it will not mount. It is called auto mounting. So there is a process and there is a service for it, and we have to configure it for this, and whenever you need it, then it will be mounted. Now securing file access on NFS share, how it is going to be secure also. Now NFS servers secure access to files using a number of methods, and these are the number of methods. By the none means simple, no security, sys, curve5, curve5i, and curve5p. Now the NFS server can choose to offer a single method or multiple methods for each exported share. So NFS client must connect to the exported share using one of the method mandated for the share. So whatever the server is configured, the client must have to choose those options. Now, and if this NFS client must be connected to the exported share using one of the methods mandated for the share and specified as a mount option. SIC, that means security, is equal to the method, whatever the method you have. Now what these methods are? So the first method is none. None means simple, the anonymous access to the files and right to the server, if allowed, will be allocated UID and GID of NFS nobody. So when you are in none, then you can do what? Anonymous user can access and read and write. It can create the directory and file. It can create new files in the share, and it will be created as a NFS nobody. Now sys, when you have sys, so file access based on the standard Linux file permissions from UID and GID. That means if user 1 has permission to create any file, then it will create, and if user 2 is not have a permission to create any file, then it will not create. And if not specified, this is the default option. So by default this is the option, and this called sys. Now curve5, it will do what? It will provide client must it is the client must providently using the Kerberos and then standard Linux file permissions apply. So first to connect, it secures the connection also, and these permission, these are like after connecting what you will get. Now here it will secure the connection also. The client must providently using the Kerberos, and then normal standard permissions will apply. Normal standard permission just like the sys option. Like if user has a permission, then it will get the permission. If user does not have, then it will not get the permission. But it has to first authenticate by the Kerberos protocol. Now Kerberos protocol is the standard protocol, but Windows uses this protocol for authentication. But it is not developed by Windows, so we can also configure this protocol on our Linux systems. Now Kerb5i adds a cryptographically strong guarantee that the data in each request has not been tampered with. So it will provide the security for the data communication also. That means when you access any file from the NFS share, then it will be cryptographically secured. It will encrypt the data also. Now Kerb5p adds encryption to all requests between the client and the server, and preventing data exposure on the network. This will have a performance impact, because it will do what? It will encrypt all the requests and replies also. So suppose I want to get the access of the file, so I will request the file first, then I will get the access of the file. The file will be downloaded in my side. So it will encrypt everything. This will encrypt, Kerb5i encrypt only the data communication. When the file downloads, file comes and goes, then it will be secured, but it will secure, the P will secure everything. Everything, that means all data and request and everything. But remember, for configuring these Kerb5, Kerb5i or Kerb5p, first we need the Kerberos server to be configured. And Kerberos server will provide the Kerberos key for the client and the server. So with the help of that Kerberos key, we can secure the connection between the NFS server and NFS client. And for that, first you have to configure the Kerberos server. So if you are not having a Kerberos server, then you can go with the default option, that is sys, and that is the default option we have. So remember, when we check the export fs command with the export fs command with verbose option V, it shows the security option also. Let me show you that first. So you see here, when I give this command export fs-v, it shows the options that I have shared this folder with this, and I have given only read write, but these are the default options are there. And with that default option, we can see the security is equal to sys. Now what this security do, we will see when after we mount, after we access this share folder on the client. So I will go to client machine. So what we do here for accessing the share folder from NFS, first we will create a local folder, local directory, and then we will mount the directory, we will mount the share on this directory. So I will create a directory first here. Local NFS, I'm giving the name, and I'm creating it under directory slash. You can create anywhere you like. Now I'm going to mount it on this directory. So I will use the first option first. I will use mount command. Mount -t. Now -t is to mention the option, a type of the file system which we want to mount. So the type is NFS. I want to access NFS share. So the type I will mention NFS. Now here we have to mention which partition or which directory we want to mount. Remember, we use this command to mount the partitions, mount the directory, mount the flash, mount the CD DVD. we use this for that. So here I want to mount this network directory here. So first we have to know that what directories are available on server. Because when we are on the client machine, so maybe we don't know that which directories are shared. So first we should know that what directory is actually shared on the server. So first I will do what? I will run the command. Now to check what what NFS directories are shared from the server, we can use this command show mount -e and the server name, or we can use the server IP also, and it will show that what are the directories are shared with the NFS from this server. So when you give this command, now we are getting an error and it is saying no route to host. Now when you get this no route to host, that means the firewall is not allowing. So remember, we forgot to enable the NFS service from firewall. So we have to enable it from firewall first. So let's enable the firewall first. So for enabling the firewall, we have a command firewall cmd, add it as a permanent, and add service NFS. And I will reload the firewall to apply the changes. Now my firewall is allowing it, and now we can check from the client. So from firewall we have to enable NFS. We have to enable this first NFS service. Then we have to enable this RPC bind also on firewall, and then after RPC bind we have to enable this mounted. After enabling all these three services, then we can reload the firewall, and now we can go to the client and we can run this show mount -e command. Show mount -e with the IP address or even a name of the server we can mention if our DNS server is working. I can use both because I'm having a DNS server, so I can use IP also, and it is showing the export list from that server that this is the folder which is shared, and this is shared for this network. And I believe I am having a DNS server also, so I can use the name also. So I can use the name of the server also, and also it is showing this same, that this share folder is shared for this network. So with this command, first we know that what are the share folders, what are the folders exported from the client, from the server with NFS. Now we know the folder name, and also we know that we have a permission or not. So it is for the whole network. That means this client can also use it. Now we have created the directory here, this one, and we will use this directory to mount that NFS share on this directory. Right now you see nothing in this, no files are inside this directory. Now I will use mount command, mount -t for the type, and the type is NFS. Now here I will mention the network location where the NFS directory is located. So here I will mention the IP, or I can mention the name of the server, because we have a DNS server also. I'm going with the IP directly. Then colon / and then the name of the folder, a directory. So the directory name is my share. So this is the directory from the server I want to access, and I want to mount it on my local directory. So the command is mount then option T for the type, and type is NFS, and then the directory, the server IP or name, colon the directory name which is we shared and we want to access, and then space the local directory name where we want to mount it. And then when you get enter, it is mounted. You see, without error, it is not showing any error, that means it is mounted. And now when I check the directory, what is inside it, I can see those files which I created on server. These 4 files I have created on server, and here I can see those files. Now remember the permission which I gave. The permissions was read write. That means anyone who can access, who can mount, who can access the directory, they can do what? Read write permission. We have not mentioned a user particularly. There is no option in NFS to mention any username. It is having an option to mention the IP address or name of the host, that this host or that host can do write or not, cannot do write. But we have given the whole network read write option, so this machine can also be write. So let's go to the directory now. So this is the directory we have, and in that directory we have these files. It is created on server. Now because I am having a read write permission, I will try to create file here. So touch file 5. Now what it is saying, it is saying permission denied. So permission denied, why it is saying permission denied? Because it is using security option as a system, as a sys. If we check here, export fs-v, so it is using what? Security option as a sys. Now that means what? It will give the permission according to the users. That means if the user has permission, then it will get the permission, and if the user does not have the permission, it will not get the permission. Remember, because in the export file we don't have option to mention username, so the permission for the users will be mentioned or controlled by the normal NTFS normal ACL permissions. So that we will maintain by the normal ACL permission of the directory. So when we check the ACL permission of this directory which we shared, so this directory which we shared, the ACL permission says that the owner is the root user, group owner is also root, and only owner user can do read write. All the other users can only read, and owner user is what? Root. That means if root user access the directory from network location, it can access and it can do what? It can write. But if other user access the directory, they will not able to write it anything. So if I want to give any other user access, then I have to add those user permission here on this directory with the ACL permission. Now the permission which we gave here in NFS, it is actually share permission. So share permission is saying read write, but the local permission is saying only read for others. Only root user is having the read write permission, all the other users are having only read permission. But share permission says read write, but share permission will give the write permission, but when you write anything in this directory, it will store here on this server, on these directories. Now when it try to hold store here in this directory, then this local permissions will apply. So when you create from the shared location, still it will come and store into this directory, and this directory you have this local permission. So local permission will apply with the share permission. Share permission will allow you to write, but when you try to edit anything, when you try to create any file, the local permission is stopping you. So we can do what? In share permission we don't have option to mention users. So users, if we want to give some user read permission, some user write permission, then we can manage it by the advanced ACL permission on that directory. Now what permission right now we have is that only root user can do read write, other users cannot do anything. So if suppose I want to give some user a permission, so suppose user 1, so I will give ACL permission. Set FACL command I will use to give the permission. We can give set FACL command, remember, to modify user 1, and we can add user 1 as a read write permission to the directory. So we can do this to give the permission. Then user 1, if the user 1 logs in here on the client and try to write anything on this directory, then it can have a write permission. If user 2 logs in here, then it will not have a permission. But right now, what is the situation here? Right now, root user is having the write permission, and who is trying to write here? Which user is trying to write or create file here in this directory? So it is actually root. Now this is also root, and the server, on the server it is also root which has a permission, but it is still not giving it the permission. It is saying permission denied. Now why it is saying permission denied? Because this root is not the root of server. It is the root of this client machine. It is a root of the other machine. So basically this NFS service consider the root of other machines as a NFS nobody, and NFS nobody is like an anonymous user. An anonymous user will be considered as it will get the permissions of others. It will not get the permissions of this, it will get the permissions of all the other users. So other machines root user will be considered as a NFS nobody, and that means it is anonymous, and anonymous users will get only this others permission. And right now other permissions are saying what? Only read and execute, and that is why the root user from that other machine is not able to write anything. So if I want that to root user to write from the other machine, let me show you that. I will do what? I will change the permission, and I will give other user write permission. So I am giving other user write permission, and that is not recommended to do that. Now I have given other user write permission, and you can see now other user can write. Other user, that means every user, including anonymous also, and anonymous means NFS nobody also. Now when you go to this server, and if I want to add something from here, and now you can see it is creating this file, and it can create because other user has permission. And if you check in detail, then you will see that these files was created on server, and it was created by the root user of that server. But the file which I created from here, from this machine's root user, what it says here, that it is created by the NFS nobody. Instead it is created by the root user, but it is what showing here, NFS nobody, because it considers the root user of the other machine as a NFS nobody, and it is doing this thing because of this setting, the setting which is by default there, and it is called root squash. Root squash, that means it is squashing the root user, and it is not considering root user of other machine as a root user. If we want that it should consider the root user of other machine as a root user, then we can make this change here in the setting, and we can add no root squash, like this, no all squash. So this, with this setting, it is doing what? It is not squashing all the other users, that is normal users, but because of this setting it is doing what? Squashing the root user. So if you want that root user of the other machine can be considered as a root user, then you can change the setting for this. You can change it to no root squash. Now this is also not recommended, because root user should not get the permissions on the from the network side because of the security. But if you like, then you can do this. And how you will do this, I will show you. You can open the configuration file, And with these settings you can add one more option there, and that is no root squash, comma, no underscore root underscore squash. And then you can save it, and after that export fs -r. And now when you check verbosely, now you will see it is saying no root squash. Now it will consider other machine's root user as a root user. Now I will remove the permission for the other user. Now I have removed the permission from the other user, and now you can see other users don't have any permission, only root user has the permission. Now if I try to create a file from here again, file 6, it is creating the file. Now it is creating the file, instead other users are not having a permission. Now why it can create a file? Because it is considering this root user as a root user of the server. And you can see this file which I create right now, it is not created by NFS nobody, it is created as a root, because it is considering this machine, this root user as a root user of server. Now this is not good, this is not a good setting, but it is there, and if you like then you can have it. So we should not have this, so I will delete this. Now again it goes back to root squash, and now because the other user is not having a permission, now if root tries to create any file, it will say permission denied. So normal users can create based on their UID and GID, and that is the default security option, which is security is equal to sys. So normal users, when they create, so based on their UID and GID, they will get the permission from the advanced ACL permissions, and the permission which we gave from the NFS share export file, it is the share permission. But share permission is also important. If you don't have a share permission to write, then the local permission will not apply. You will only get read only, and that we can use, and basically you are not able to mount that folder. So if you are not having a share permission, then you are not able to write, you are not able to mount the directory also. Like for example, I will unmount. So for unmounting the directory, shared directory, we will give command umount, just like we unmount the normal partitions, and then we will mention our directory where it is mounted. And now when you check, now it is not mounted and it is not showing anything because I unmounted it. Now if you don't want to give some clients or some host permission to mount, then simple, we should not add them into export files. We will add only those IPs or those host names which we want to allow the access, and which we don't want to allow the access, we will not add them into export file. So for example, I don't want to give everyone the share, I just want to give some particular host. So what I will do, I will change the file from here and I will remove the network IP. Now this time I will mention a particular IPs which I want to allow to access. So for example, I want to allow only access for 14, and I will give read write permission to 14, or I will give read only. Then for my share, I am giving access for 18, and for 18 I am giving read write access. Then my share 192.168.20 read write read only. So just like this, we will add all the machines IP which we want to allow them to access for the share, and if we don't add any IP, that means they will not be allowed. Previously I have allowed the whole network, but now I am allowing only some particular IPs and host. So you can mention the host name if your DNS server is working properly, and if your DNS server is not there, then you can mention IPs directly. Now here I'm mentioning only these IPs. Now only these IPs are allowed to access, and others will not be allowed. And remember, 14 is having read only, 18 will get read write, and 20 will get read only. So only these machines will get the permissions, others will not get the permission. So what I will do now, I will check this by saving the file and updating the export fs by using the -r option. And now when I check export fs command, now I can see that these permissions are there and I have shared with these IPs. Now I'll go to the client machine and here I will check show mount command, show mount -e from this server, and now I can see that it is shared with 192.168, 1.20, then 1.18 and 1.14. Now what is this machine IP? So this machine's IP is actually 35 and it is getting this IP from DHCP. So it is what? 1.35. Now this IP is not in the list. Now if it is not in the list, that means it cannot access it, and for that if it tries to mount the directory, now remember, if it tries to use this mount command, what it get here is access denied. Access denied by the server while mounting this directory. So why it gets the access denied? Because it is not having a permission to access. Only those machines which is under the list is only allowed, and those who is not under the list, they are not allowed. Now I will change the IP for this machine first. If config, the interface name is this, and I will put that one of the IP which is allowed. So I will give 1.20. Now it is showing this IP. Now it is showing this IP. Now I will try to mount the directory again with this mount command, and now you can see it is mounted, and it is mounted, and we can check, we can see the data. We can check the mount by df-h command, and we can also see here that it is mounted. And also we can see by mount command. Grab local NFS, and we can see that this directory is mounted on this. The type is NFS4 because both the Linux system is RHEL 7, so both supports the NFS version 4. So the type is NFS4 by default, 4 by default. The option is read write. The real time version is this: resize, W size, read size, write size, name length, hard, protocol, port number, time, timeout, retention and security, client address. It is showing the client address, and then local lock none, and then address for the server also it is showing. So everything you can see here with this mount command. Now we can see this IP is having read only permission, this IP is having read write, and this IP is having read only permission. So I have accessed with this IP, so I get only read only. Instead I give the write permission here. Right now local permission, local NTFS permission, local advanced ACL permissions of the directory is saying no write to others. Now I will give the permission here, chmod others. I am giving write permission. I am giving write permission to others so that everyone can write on this directory. But because the share permission is not there, you cannot write it. So let's check here. I can mount it, and I have already mounted it because I have a permission of mounting, because my IP is in the list, and I can see this IP20 is in the list, so I can mount it. Now I will try to write something in that directory. Now what it is saying here, that it is read only file system. Instead I have given everyone a write permission from the low advanced ACL permission, that local permission, but still it cannot write because share permission is saying no write, it is only read only. So for having a read write permission, you should have first share permission as a read write, then you can manage the permission for the user by using the ACL permission. Now if the permission from the share is only read, then you cannot do write even if you have a permission also. Even if you have a local permission as a write, still you cannot do write because you are having a read only permission from the share. Now this is what we made it mount by manually mounting this command, manually using the mount command. Now if we want to make it mount after reboot also, then we can add it into fstep file. We can make it permanent and we can add it into fstep file. So how you will add it into fstep file to make it permanent mount? We will open the fstep file here, just like we used to mount the normal partitions. We go to fstep file, and in the file we will use this. I will create a section here. Now here I will mention the location first, 192.168.1.12:/ this is my share, and I want to mount it on local NFS. Now the type of the file system will be NFS. The rest of the settings I will put default 0 0. Now this is how we can make this partition mount after reboot also. Now we can check the setting before rebooting. So for that, what you will do first, unmount it first, Now it is not mounted. We can check by df- command. It is not mounted. We can check the directory also. It is not showing any file, so it is not mounted. Now I will use command mount -a to update the mount table without rebooting, and we can see there is no error. That means it is mounted without error, and we will not have any error when we reboot the system. So when I check this, I can see it is mounted now, and is going to be mounted after reboot also. And if I check the directory, I can see all the.
So what is the meaning -a?
So this is how we made it permanent mount, and it will be automatically mounted whenever we reboot the system. The partition, this NFS share will always be mounted on this local NFS directory, because we have added into the FSF file, and it is also checked without rebooting. Now remember this, it is a network share folder, network share directory. So whenever your system reboots, it will check that whether the directory is available or not. That means at that time our server must be started and our server must be connected, so that this client system or all the client system will get the share from the server. And if in this case, if suppose our server is not running and our system reboots, client machine starts and the server is not running or not connected, then you will see your system will take lots of time to start. It will wait for the server to respond. It will start sending the request, and after a long time the server will not respond. Then it will get timeout, and then your machine will start. So it may take time. So making it permanent like this under the FSTF file can be a problem, because your server must be running every time when you reboot this client. And if the server is not running, then it will take a time to boot. It will not it will give you error, but it will take time to boot, and it will take lots of time sometimes. Sometimes it will take lots of time, because it will try to connect the server and it will send the request to server, and it will keep sending the request until it will get the response. And when it not get the response, it will say timeout, and then your machine will start. So this is one of the problem, and for that we can use AutoFS option. AutoFS will do what? It will do mount the partition based on the requirement. Based on the requirement, for example, I have shared some directory, and based on the requirement, that means I have configured it to mount on this directory, but it will not mount until it is required. For example, if nobody is accessing this directory, this local directory, the mount point for that share, it will not mount anything. But suppose if I give command to list the directory, that means I am requiring the directory, I am saying the directory. These settings we can configure in AutoFS. So if I say I want to access this, then it will do what? It will mount it. If I want to go to this directory, then this is what the requirement. So when the requirement comes, then it will mount the directory. So AutoFS means what? It will automatically mount the partition when it requires. Otherwise it will not require. Otherwise it will not mount. It will remain like this. So whenever your system reboots, it will not wait for the server to respond, because there is no requirement for it. But when you require the partition, the directory to be mounted, then it will be mounted. And this is the setting of AutoFS. And this AutoFS we will see in next lecture.